15 minutes a piece.
Okay.
And it goes overtime when it goes overtime.
That's a lot.
It ends early when it ends early. We got lots to talk about.
You hear me?
Do I hear you?
Yeah.
In my phones?
Yes.
Not much. You probably need to turn yourself up.
How about that? I'm just trying to find.
Aren't you you're the yellow one? You're the yellow one.
Yellow.
The yellow cord. Look at the top where all the cords are.
Okay.
That's you.
Oh, okay. Now you can hear me.
Crank yourself up even more. You're not all that
Even
loud.
more.
Oh, okay.
I'm not planning on doing a whole lot of talking.
Good. Thank God.
Jesus.
Is the music working right?
Yes.
I think if you hit play, we can take it from there.
You sure?
Yeah, and then you'll want to,
I'll fade
it out.
It in. I'll fade it in, then I'll fade it out.
Sure, it's going to come in, though.
You don't fade it in. It starts out on a high note. Don't fade it in.
All right.
Blast it in. Ram it in.
All right.
Shove it in.
This is my 5, 6.
Are we ready?
We are indeed ready.
Okay, wait. I'm going to give you the signal. Remember how this goes? Come on, Jeff. It hasn't been this long.
It's been a while.
You ready? Don't hear it.
Is the volume on your phone up? There's our problem. That's about how loud we want.
Start it
right
over.
there.
You want to start over?
Start over.
Yeah.
Just start over. Just hit back.
Okay. So this is
I'll put this in later to make fun of you.
Nice. I like it.
It's just
That'll be for all the people wanting the B-sides.
that's gonna happen.
I know. What did you say last time? The shitty Bronco Jeff or something. Believe me, I could fucking take it. In that case.
Cool. Yeah, you're good.
Live from the Sportique Studios in a random living room not far from the Gothic Theater, this is the South Stands Denver Fancast. I'm Colin Daniels with guest producer Bronco Jeff, longtime sports journalist and former co-host of the Vic Lombardi Show on Altitude Sports Radio, Will H.W. Peterson. Woo. And your host, John Reedy. Yeah!
What you get and what you see. Things that don't come easily. Feeling happy in my vein. Icicles within my brain. Cocaine. That is the first line from the classic Black Sabbath song, Snowblind. And that is our theme for tonight. Cocaine and Snowblind. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's South Stands Live. We're live on YouTube right there. We're back for more. It's been how many weeks, Colin? 5 weeks?
5, maybe even 6.
It might be
we were
6.
previewing the Broncos season and talking about the Rockies in the playoffs.
I don't think
we have missed so many pertinent events.
Yeah,
I don't know why anybody listens to us.
I don't know. They do. They're clamoring for it, though, so we had to
I
get
know.
it. And we have a special guest tonight. Will Peterson's with us. Will, welcome to the show. Finally.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. It's my first time on a mic in 13 days. I'm a little nervous. You're gonna have to help.
I think you know what to do.
I noticed the kind of the clamminess and the kind of sweat.
So now, what did you do? Why aren't you? What happened? What'd you do to get fired?
Jump right into it. Listen, they made some changes. I was told the word was downsizing.
Okay,
was what I was told. I wasn't the only one, but I was the only one that they said, "Give us your badge and get the hell out."
Wow.
So that was a little tough.
I thought Julie Browman got walked the same day too.
Yeah, but she's still with the company, so there's still a little bit of Will's the only one who just leaves and never come back, and it was tough because I said all along the Avs and Nuggets were going to be good. They're both good. I'm no longer there.
So this is normal for radio, though. This isn't like a shocking development, right? I mean, everyone kind of knows radio is a little bit harsh like that, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think the difficult part was a new program director got brought in
From out of state.
Did everything that was asked. And then one day you get a text, hey, come on down to my office. You see HR in the office and you know the direction it's going to go.
Well, and I didn't think this topic was going to come as fast and as furious as it has.
Why not?
But good question. What I feel about the situation is just bummed because I live a portion of my life in the sports talk radio realm, and it's my little universe. It's where while I take a shower, while I brush my teeth, while I make a sandwich, while I'm doing other mindless things.
He's been given a lot of cease and desist
yes.
Things sent to him because he talks about how he showers and listens to you and everyone
Cecil
else.
and I worked all that out.
Okay, good. All right.
I think we've come to terms. But it's a big part of my life, and your show was phenomenal. And I mean phenomenal. It was one of the very best sports talk radio shows I've ever heard. And there have been many good ones. Peter Burns was one of my favorite hosts. He always did a great job no matter who he was with. And I love Nate Kreckman. But as far as a triumvirate of guys who had developed a chemistry with one another, who served different roles within the program, drove it different ways, contributed different things, and had, at first, there was a lot of negative energy between Vic Lombardi and James Marilat. And you kind of provided this buffer. And then over time, that negative energy, you could hear it within the show, slowly evolving into a mutual respect and an understanding of one another. And as that happened, and as you contributed more and more, I just thought it was the most honest guy talk, fan talk perspective on Denver sports that was available, and I'm really, really sad that it's gone.
Well, that's kind of you to say. I think it worked for a couple reasons. First of all, it was 3 Denver natives. So I think we knew the market through and through. You know, they hadn't brought us in from New York 2.5 years ago and pretend like we're some Broncos expert.
Or Nebraska.
Yeah. And second of all, Marilat was the PD. People don't understand that. James Marilat was the program director, so he was allowed to have direction of, like you said, that show, a little bit of guy talk, a lot of honesty, some negativity, all things that when you bring in someone new, they may or may not like.
Is this kind of like what John Gruden's doing? And he's like, I want to get all people I brought in type of thing, and you have to like kind of clean house if that's somebody that didn't come in under your administration.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Khalil Mack, that'll work out at the end of the day.
Sure.
But yeah, I think inevitably there was going to be change. And the worst kept secret around, and you don't even know this, Marilat got that promotion in May. That promotion happened months ago. We didn't have a PD for a few months. So then we were kind of just going along, and then they bring the new guy in, the consultant comes in, and it was very clear, okay, summer's over, changes are coming.
And a lot of the people who remain at the station have contracts on the TV side, and I could see how it would be a matter of, if you're not one of those people or one of the named people who came in with a agent and a contract, you're expendable because we can get rid of you.
You're kind of in the crosshairs when you don't have a contract and you don't contribute to their TV station, a la me.
Now, let me back up a little bit. Do you remember the Simpsons episode when the cartoonist that made Itchy and Scratchy was there, and the guys were going, in episode 345, and they go in elaborate detail about how they screwed up the episode. That kind of reminds me of Colin in that he's really paid a lot of attention. Now, obviously, that's flattering, but isn't it kind of weird too that he's that in depth and knows that much about you guys and the show?
I guess, but without people like Colin, I don't know if we would have the audience that we did.
That's true, and that's the diplomatic answer.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that the audience was huge. I think it was loyal. I'm not going to sit here and say they blew up a show that had 40,000 people every day listening to it, but I think they blew up a show that people liked. It was genuine, and as soon as people found it, they stayed. That was the tricky thing on
and I think in local sports talk radio, and I saw it with, I've known many hosts at Mile High Sports, and what they have to try and do to try and of course, Mile High Sports doesn't even look at those numbers. They don't use those numbers, and for a reason. And the case you have to make if you're a host at Mile High Sports is you don't need numbers, because the people I'm going to bring you are going to shop your company, and they're going to tell you it's because of me. So that's what I have to offer. If you want numbers, Arbitron numbers, I can't provide them. And so I think with a show like yours, it's almost the same argument. It's not I can bring you the volume of a show at 104.3 The Fan, but I can bring you a more loyal buyer. And that's where if I had a show like that, if there's one thing I would change, it's a lot more sponsor-driven programming. And I think you can work the two together because that is how you benefit a sponsor who trusts you to use your numbers to your advantage.
Can a show like that work still? So we all know that if you don't talk about the Broncos, you're not going to succeed, right? And so, but this has proved it wrong in that there's other sports to talk about. There's other things to cover.
And you guys did Rockies better than any other station.
And that's what and this is, I always say, if you can be a Broncos fan, or you can, I only like the Rockies. That's fine. But I consider myself a Denver sports fan. I like all of it. So I want to hear about all of it. I don't want to hear about Broncos. And that's why I stopped listening to those stations a long time ago. But can it work with podcasts coming in where they're specialized? Can somebody make that work where you can say, hey, look, we're going to cover all of them? Because I know that in Boston or places like that, they're covering all these teams. They're saying, hey, we're going to cover the Pats, we're going to cover the Red Sox, we're going to cover the Bruins. Why can't people get over the hump and be into something like that here?
Well, I think it goes back to what Colin said about the ratings game is kind of skewed towards the fan because the fan's been around forever. No one knew who we were. Our biggest marketing effort, honest to God, was Vic Lombardi's Twitter account and his 80,000 followers. So that was a tricky thing for us. Was they blamed it on, well, you need to talk more Broncos. We blamed it on, no one knows this stick exists, So, but to answer your question, can you talk at all? Yes, but those teams have to be good.
Sure, yeah.
Denver is this may not be popular. In my opinion, Denver's a bandwagon town. And the Rockies, Avs, and Nuggets are all trending.
With the exception of the Broncos.
And the Broncos.
They are not a bandwagon team.
No, people are going to talk about them regardless.
But the Avs, Nuggets, and Rapids and whatever, you better believe it. Yeah, exactly. That's what we are.
So the timing of it was tricky that the Avs were coming off their worst season ever, one of the worst seasons in NHL history. The Nuggets missing the playoffs 5 years in a row, kind of meandering around. And the Broncos were the juicy topic. So, yeah, we can say, well, we're going to talk it all, but then that's not going to produce the numbers management wants. So it's a little chicken of the egg.
But on the other hand, why talk Broncos when you've got Orange and Blue 760, a team-owned station, and the Fan, which is completely controlled by the Broncos as well. So it doesn't seem to me like that's a sound strategy for a launching station.
But
especially one that belongs to Stan Kroenke, who owns the Avalanche and the Nuggets.
You answered your own question, though. We weren't, at least initially, maybe now more so, we weren't handcuffed by having to be positive about the Broncos. We could really dive into the, let's say, the ownership situation, which the other stations aren't allowed to touch. So that would have been a benefit, too, especially in this current climate. I mean, that's why it's a bummer you can't talk about Chad Kelly breaking into someone's house right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of topics to touch on.
We're going to talk about that for sure. No, I think that with podcasts, so I was thinking about Boston just because of the World Series. So if the Bruins have been around forever. So they've got the Red Sox, same thing. Let's say the Pats are the ones that have only been around since like the last 15 years. And I know that's not true, Pats fans. I always say they're an expansion team from 2000 because that's the only time I start hearing about their fans. So with podcasts, if the Bruins are bad, the Bruins are bad, and people are like, I don't want to talk about the radio. People could still go to their podcasts and listen, and get their information for it or whatever. If those people know how to use computers, that is. But with the Avalanche, great sustained success right off the bat, then went away for a long time. And then things changed, like technology changed, everything kind of went away. So then radio kind of left them behind almost. Mm-hmm. And so then podcast came in and it was like, well, this is the only place I can get information on this team that sucks, right? So they're not going to talk about the radio. So it's almost like it's kind of left those teams behind, the Rockies as well. Rockies have been good, getting there, been good for the last couple of years. But in the meantime, radio's been a wasteland for them. So it's almost like they've just kind of abandoned it, and it's like, well, we can't just go back now. So it's almost like it will need a long time for them to be good, going back to what you said, for radio to kind of hit on those topics more often than not, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it's definitely, it's insane to me to what extent it is a Broncos town, and it takes championships to change that. And obviously, the Avalanche have theirs, and the Avalanche have, I think, the most passionate fans out of all 4 major sports.
Do you agree with that?
In Denver,
Most passionate, but the smallest sample size, right?
I just mean concentrated, most passionate. Like those that are loyal Avalanche fans are way into that team. They're like crazy.
Like everybody's a Broncos fan, right?
Sure.
Everyone's a Broncos fan, and everyone's got a fucking opinion. They'll let you know about it all day long, as we've all found out. And
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. But with the Avalanche, I think, and to the Nuggets to an extent, but I think it's far less. Going back to what I said, they've been abandoned for so long. They're like, screw you guys, we're going to create our own thing here, and that's why they're kind of like pretty prickly about it. But I think they are very passionate because I think they've had to weather the storm this whole time, and they've kind of created their own universe. You know what I mean?
You are getting to something there. That hockey guy is the most sensitive guy ever, and he's the guy who would blow us up on our text line. Why aren't you talking hockey? Why aren't you talking hockey? You would talk hockey for 45 seconds, and he would tell you 6 things you did wrong. What are you talking about Matt Nieto like that? He's a third-line stud. Like, dude, you asked me to break down hockey. I took a flyer on it, and now my Matt Nieto analysis isn't good enough, or whatever, Wow. So I'm with you. It's funny. Hockey guy wants you to talk about it, but then if you don't talk about it in precisely their way, so maybe the Avs, passionate's one word. They're the most elitist fan base in town.
Oh, and they're insane.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, they're crazy people.
Colin's Matt Nieto analysis is terrible. Let me tell you, his is really bad.
I can't even pronounce Nieto.
He can't even do it.
Would you prefer Carl Soderberg?
I can pronounce Soderberg.
Yeah, you sure can.
Love a nice can of Soderberg right now.
We got a lot to get to, and we're gonna definitely cover it for the folks in podcast land and those
people
right there. If I don't know. I can't see anymore, so I couldn't tell you how many people are
probably not many
are watching.
Hopefully not.
But there's usually a couple. They pick it up later. So, but we'll get into the first. We'll get into this second quarter here in our first break.
Man, you really are tired.
I am tired. I'm kind of out of it. I'm trying to struggle through. Trying not to point out all the parts I fuck up because how
we're gonna do some of Emmanuel Sanders' blow.
Oh yeah.
During the break, and we'll see if we can.
We got to talk about that because that's an interesting thing because that went like 100 miles an hour to screeching halt, and it was very fascinating. That was just one aspect of the exciting day yesterday. I kind of wish we were doing this last night.
Yesterday was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was excellent. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Crank those tunes, baby. Crank those tunes. So bring it out when you feel comfortable. Oh, yeah, is my mic?
That was a little slow. I'm not gonna lie. That's what 5 weeks off of not doing it does.
Hello. Oh, my mic's gone. I don't know. I don't know.
When you mute them, the yellow light comes on.
Okay. So we just taking a breather. Are you about to?
No. Just hold up. Just because when you do the music, because then we'll start talking. Because I start talking and then it showed up.
So you'll talk at the end of the music.
No. I'm just saying when you have the music going, you should all be muted.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, but I was still on.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I don't know why.
So is everything paused right now? Like, are we?
I'm paused. Yeah, I'm paused except for that.
I wonder if the mic on the laptop is on.
So save your racist takes for later. Don't let people.
Those are for the YouTubers.
Let me save this.
I'll bet the mic on the laptop is on. My daughter's been using it for Skype. Don't tell John though.
Yeah, no.
And so get freaked out because the computer will fail on it. No fucking.
So now I need.
What is this? Is this? God damn! Like from the 5-6 weeks since we've been here, my eyes have gotten worse because I can't see this. You know what I mean? I could be tired too.
You're probably tired.
Can you tell the difference between the word corn and calm?
I don't have them in front of me right now, but if I did,
this is what
277.
275.
277.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, because your guys' it hasn't been showing up on Spotify. Or
What?
on
Also-
Stitcher, on
No,
Stitcher.
what? Really?
No, it hasn't been showing up on Stitcher.
Oh.
Put on iTunes.
New website.
So also, I remember how to post it, but if it doesn't go to iTunes, you got to get a hold of that dude. And
I think it will this time.
Okay.
Maybe fix
What
it.
about with Stitcher for this
Want some?
Apple?
You're going outside?
No, I'm going downstairs.
Okay, I'll be good. I'm good. Thanks, though.
I don't know about Stitcher.
That's how I found you. I was way.
Well, yeah, nobody's asked us since the new website went up.
Has it been off Stitcher for a while?
Yeah, the last two. Last one on Stitcher was 274, so 3.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's weird. That's when the site flipped over.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice site, but
It's
whatever
a
they
really
did to
nice
it,
site, but
I love
yeah,
your
it
guys'
doesn't-
side.
it's
great looking.
really nice.
Yeah, aesthetically.
but whatever he did for because before, whenever you just posted the file and it was up, he had something in there that went right to iTunes and it went right everywhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do it anymore. So I don't know. And then it's been like kind of pulling teeth because I'd be like, I'd say, hey, I did all this. And the guy'd be like, oh, did you do this? And it was like, obviously that I had done it. And it was
Right.
like, come on, man. And then I don't know.
What's frustrating too is it was probably a pretty simple back end fix.
It should be, right?
Homeboy's just not helping you out.
He said, oh, I added this step for you to do this and add this. And I was like, okay, cool. And it still wasn't showing up. So I was like, and then I'm like, did I do something wrong? Or? So you got to work it out with him, but you probably need. He'll probably come back in with a read. He'll read something.
Yeah, he'll read, and then I'll do a song out of the,
Correct.
and then I'll do the questions, right?
If he's doing that, I have no idea if he's doing
I
that.
think there's 5 weeks worth of.
There should be. Yeah, I really want to get into the the analysis of how Tyrone Bigham's okay.
Yeah.
Dude with a second blow, not okay. That's really what I want to talk about.
Nice.
The cocaine costumes kind of got lumped together.
Oh, you're talking about the
Got-
cocaine party at the Gothic?
Yeah.
I heard there was a cocaine party.
Fuck,
Oh, yeah. What the fuck was Chad Kelly on anyway?
Well, you know the whole he blew zeros thing was bullshit, right?
Well, yeah.
Because it was reported he blew zeros. Well, he never got tested.
Yeah.
So the default
Blew
entry
zeros.
was zeros.
Which was that's the fucking Denver PD hooking a brother up.
Yeah.
Well, but he also wasn't driving, so their excuse was there was no need to test him. Trespassing is trespassing, whether you're sober or blowing a
Because he might have just gone to go. He might just rack out in his truck, right?
Right.
And just be like, I'm going to sleep this off. So.
It's not the booze that caused that.
Yeah, so, all right.
Okay, so
I've been really fucked up and on lots of stuff, but never that fucked up.
never that fucked up. No.
You know what's crazy?
break
Did
into a
you,
random person's
did you
house.
hear
fucked up.
yesterday on the fan?
That's
I never listen to local sports talk radio anymore. I mean, I grew up on it, but did you hear when that cop called in and talked about how kind of common that was that people do that?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah, and then I talked. Like, I was at work today, and like 2 different coworkers of mine were like, "Oh, my buddy got so fucked up," and like the narrative, I guess his is a little different, but it's always the same. Like, you just go into the wrong house, pass out on the couch.
Yep.
Like that's what happens every time. And the cop is like, "Do you want to press charges? Yes or no?" But he's like, "Yeah, this happens, and whenever it happens, someone's fucked up like that. They just walk in the door, they think they're where they're supposed to be, and they just pass out."
Yep.
So I got to do a read. I'm trying to remember how we do this.
We're gonna do it. So,
Man.
I'm trying to remember the transition
You do-
between questions and the song after the read, because you'll do a read. We did the out song on the first
Working
quarter.
it out.
So
Right. Then I do.
you do a read,
This is
then we play
hilarious.
another song.
We've only done this for 10 years.
Scott?
9 years.
Scott's 9 years. Scott's not here. We do. I do.
Scott.
I do the read coming out of the out music. Then. Oh, and then you play. It's the questions, huh?
Oh, so I just play that right out of
Yeah.
the read? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because I have that on the playlist. I mean.
Yeah.
So he plays music first.
He already did that.
Yeah, that was the song I just
He did
played.
the outro music. Then I do the.
Read.
It's all. Then the read, and then the questions. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's all coming together. Sorry, Will.
Oh,
We're not
yeah.
all that. We're not all that slick.
I got nothing to do. Shit.
Careful.
I'm hitting my
I'm
chair.
gonna just tell me when. I'm gonna unmute now.
Unmute it all, and I'm
Unmute
going to
away.
give you the signal when I've hit record.
Okay.
You won't hear any music because I'm gonna trim out some of the stuff on the end, but I'll move you up into it. So, not that matters. You might hear something funny.
It's interesting.
Is everyone ready? Is everyone mics are hot?
Is my mic hot? Yeah.
Mics are hot. That's what they say in the business.
Dan, you need to get up on yours more, dude. You're fucking coming back.
This corner is
He's
hot.
used to like good mics, and then
I'm supposed
I'm supposed
quality.
to eat this mic.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
Hey everybody, I got news for you. There's a new store in the annex at Sportique Scooters. It's called the Leech Pit. They've had a store in Colorado Springs for over 15 years, and now they've got a store in Denver at 162 South Broadway. What is the fucking Leech Pit? Oh my God. They've been keeping Colorado Springs lame for 15 years, and they're going to make Denver lame again.
About time.
With record albums and vintage clothing and streetwear and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Garbage Patch Kids. Man, this is a place you got to check out, 162 South Broadway. It's the Leech Pit. And when you check out the Leech Pit, please tell them the South Stand sent you. Which poses the greatest risk to a Broncos player career? Von Miller's Halloween party or Kenyon Martin's birthday party? Is Von always sure to invite a girl named Molly? Is John Elway glad to have the Chad Kelly mess behind him so the Broncos can move forward with no character issues whatsoever? You guys are allowed to laugh. That's not forbidden. Did Vance Joseph sit down with Chad Kelly to discuss his own experience with being places where he was not invited? When Matt Prater heard about the incident, did he sneer and utter fucking amateur? If Swag doesn't land with another NFL team, should he pursue a job as a spokesperson for Nest home security cameras? Does Kevin Hogan have a sick rap song? Now that he's free from prison, should the Broncos consider bringing in Ray Caruth, since he can convince men to do just about anything? Oh, that's so good. Let's see, where was I? Is Brittany Bowen like super totally stoked to own the Broncos? Does she dot the I in Brittany with a little heart? In response to Case Keenum's new book, Playing for More, Trust Beyond What You Can See, did Paxton Lynch publish a coloring book about pirates? Is Dodgers Red Sox a perfectly acceptable World Series matchup since the Hitlers and Dahmers were both eliminated in the earlier rounds? You have questions. We have answers. SouthStandsDenver.com, Colorado's finest internet sports talk since 1971.
Do you have I do not sniff the coke, I only smoke Sensimilla?
I can find it. I'll find it.
Okay. Scott's sick, and we're really glad to have you, Jeff. I know Scott would have prepared a heap of cocaine.
Smorgasbord of
But
I didn't want to go with the Clapton because that's just too predictable.
it's on the nose. Yeah, it's on the nose. But yeah, there's lots of cocaine references in various songs, like Snowblind earlier. But that's just all about cocaine. But the funny thing is, let me give you a little Black Sabbath lore here. In that song, it's the cocaine is in parentheses and it's just whispered in the song, cocaine, like that. But when he is in, I think it's Speak of the Devil. I think it's the Speak of the Devil, the live album. He's just shrieking it. He's shrieking cocaine, and it's hilarious because he's all high on cocaine at the time. So when you were talking about Chad Kelly for the Nest alarm system,
Yeah.
I just thought about that. You know how like when they show like an alarm commercial, it's always like kind of like a scruffy white guy that's breaking in. He's the guy. He's the next guy.
That's him.
It's brilliant. It's really a good career path for him, I think. because they can't have anybody else breaking in because that's just they don't want any problems, but they can get a scruffy looking, wild-eyed white guy to do it. So,
well, Bronco Jeff was saying off mic that this kind of thing happens all the time. People drunkenly stumble into other people's houses.
And people get shot in the fucking face most of the time too.
Oh, he's very, very lucky he didn't.
Oh my god! Yeah, he's very lucky.
I wouldn't have beaten on him with a vacuum hose.
Oh man,
that was the best. When I heard that detail, I was just like, "Could this get any better?"
Well, I think you're grabbing whatever you can find, right? You got a random guy in your couch, vacuum hose, boom. You're right though. He could have ended up dead. That is the underrated part of this.
And you couldn't be convicted for that. Random dudes asleep on your couch and you shoot him in the head, you're fine.
So he had to have been wasted. I mean, he was wasted.
But it wasn't. That's not alcohol. Alcohol does not cause you to break into someone's house. I think he was on fucking crazy shit.
He was probably on something, but alcohol had to be a catalyst.
Sure, along with some crazy shit.
It had to have fired up the engines, so to speak. You know what I mean?
He escaped from the security at the Gothic Theater. So he's obviously amped. He's obviously pumped up. And he went running over to Lincoln Street where he invaded a home. I mean, it takes some energy to do that. You're not like stumbling drunk.
Okay, so like let's say you're really wasted. You go home. You live in a house or apartment, whatever. An apartment, I would imagine, would be really easy to do it because you just be stumbling around and you just go.
You're in building 3 instead of
you go to the wrong door, and I think that would happen all the time. But he ran across the street to Lincoln, which is a block away, right, half a block away. And then he went into a house. It wasn't like he lived there. Like he was like, "Oh, my house is just
no." Guys like him don't live on 3200 block of South Lincoln Street.
So had to have been wasted.
Their addresses are like 68.
Really though, and I know that what was interesting though is all the stuff that flew immediately. And you know how it goes with sports media. Everyone's got to get the story on it, right? So the first thing that came out is TMZ and once everyone knew he was busted. It was the cocaine party, right? And the whole thing is everybody believed
what TMZ said. TMZ said cocaine themed costumes. That was the exact word.
Costume party.
No,
you sure?
It said cocaine themed costumes.
Still, TMZ is trashy, and they're gonna say whatever they want. They're the trashiest, and they got everybody riled up. The whole thing is that everybody believed it. Everybody went, "I totally believe this. This makes sense, right?"
Cocaine themed party, and my favorite part is every media member having to get the text from Broncos PR, "Hey, it wasn't cocaine themed, it was Western themed," and so they all start hitting your timelines. Hey, it wasn't Coke. Did you ever expect Mike Kliss on a Tuesday at noon to be, if it wasn't a Coke theme party? He tweeted out the flyer. He got the flyer from the PR.
I want somebody, graphic designers out there who are listening, and I know you're probably the only ones who are. Please Photoshop me a Von Miller's cocaine-themed party flyer for the Gothic Theater. Von Miller's annual cocaine-themed party.
They're grown men. They can do whatever they want.
No, they're not, though.
Yes, they are.
No, they're intellectually emotionally
that is a whole hour of podcast. We could talk about emotionally stunted athletes. Yes, that's a whole other topic, Colin. But for now,
there's a world going on that they just haven't lived in a long time.
Absolutely, because I was saying like, hey, I have never been photographed holding a bag of cocaine, whether it's fake or not. Okay,
no, and it was on his own social media feed.
I remember, and we're much older than you are, Will. I remember just smoking bombs and like if a camera, nobody taking any pictures.
Oh my God!
I do not want a picture of me smoking a bomb, right? And so now I think it's so just easy to take a picture. How easy it is to take a picture. Not only did they take a picture, he was holding the bag of cocaine.
Yeah!
And I was, okay, so Tyrone Biggums. We know what Tyrone Biggums is, right? And that was the funny thing about a lot of the people who are very high and mighty. They're like, obviously you don't know who Tyrone Biggums is. You're showing your classist nature by not knowing who Tyrone Biggums is, Mike Kliss, or whoever.
I'm an enlightened white person.
Exactly. I was like, okay, most of us know everyone knows who Tyrone Biggums is, right? That's a hilarious costume. That's a hilarious character. Yeah, it's making fun of a crackhead, sure, but that is a character that if a Bronco player wanted to do, it's an ode to Dave Chappelle. Awesome, that's great. Why on earth was he supposed to be Bobby Brown?
He was Bobby Brown. Yeah.
Why on earth, if you were Bobby Brown, would you carry a fucking fake? Think about how you drive. Were you gonna drive home with that in your car seat? How'd you get there?
Well, that's because the costume's too vague. How can you do a Bobby Brown costume? He just looks like a bunch of other guys.
Bobby Brown is certainly. We all suspected he was doing a lot of cocaine.
Well, you need an inflatable Rihanna, and you just beat on it the whole time.
Well, why couldn't they be if they were Rick James? Okay, Rick James, another thing from Chappelle, right? Rick James talking about cocaine. You could have been Rick James. If he had the Rick James hair and was holding a bag of Coke, you would have went, oh, Rick James. Instead, it just looked like a Bronco player having a bag of Coke. And it was like, oh my God, are you that fucking dumb? And it's again, Broncos PR is probably not going around going, hey, we got to make sure you got the right costume on, guys. They're not doing that. I understand. That would probably, maybe they're doing that. I don't know. Maybe that's their thing. It was just so ill-advised just to do that. Because again, if it was just Tyrone Biggums, everyone went, I know that guy, haha, that's great. And you know, he's got like the white stuff on his face. No big deal. Big bag of Coke. Come on, dude. That's just so dumb. And that basically was just gasoline on that fire that was already burning. And it was just a fucking free-for-all at that point.
Well, to hammer home, it was a Western theme. What part of Brandon Marshall's costume was Western?
Well, they were saying, then someone was like, well, so-and-so was Boba Fett or somebody like that. And it was like, okay, yeah, I guess you don't have to be a fucking cowboy if you don't want to be. But still, it was like, dude, just don't go with that. I was like, why would you do that and then allow yourself to be photographed like that? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm a child rapist.
Yeah, it's
for Halloween.
Yeah, it's like Colin. I'd go, Colin, don't be a child rapist for Halloween. And certainly don't be photographed and let people see it. And especially now when that photo went around the world in 30 seconds.
I've got an inflatable 14-year-old from Mexico.
But as Mike Kliss pointed out, we all know Mike Kliss really will give it to us straight. He was like, the Broncos are not upset with Von Miller and his cowboy-themed party. They're really upset with Chad Kelly, and that's really the focus of the the person who really fucked up that night. Because you know the cocaine, big bag of cocaine. That's a bad decision, but it's not like getting wasted and breaking into someone's house back.
And that's
so, Colin, you think you have some other details about this? Now, these are all alleged, right? We can't say
totally alleged. Shit. Yes, I am the least credible person you could possibly hear.
That is not a shock.
But from what I understand, there was another altercation during the show, during the party, rather, there at the Gothic Theater, between Pac-Man Jones and a rapper who's in town for a show at Cervantes.
My world's collapsing around me.
Pac-Man Jones at a club causing controversy.
Apparently,
yes.
That happened. I heard. I did my disclaimer. I'm making this up. That's my disclaimer. I'm lying. That's my disclaimer.
Well,
I'm making this up. But I know I heard this guy's, and I looked up the rapper. It's something Genesis, like it starts with an A.
Phil Collins.
No, it's
Phil
not.
Collins
Phil
the rapper.
Collins.
Genesis.
Phil Collins the rapper. No, it's not.
Work with me.
No,
here.
he's an African American rapper from Los Angeles area, give or take, and he's here for a show at Cervantes. So it's conceivable he could have been at the Gothic for the big Broncos party because that's, rappers might be invited to a Broncos party. I'm just saying.
Sure.
And apparently, things went awry. It sounds to me like it was a alcohol and drug-fueled melee, and that is a thing to be concerned about. When I hear Vance Joseph and Elway and the media and Mike Kliss and everybody else saying, oh, this is just adults having a nice Halloween party. No, it's not that at all. It's an orgy of fucking chaos. And you've got guys running away from security and breaking into houses.
Extremely immature people.
It's just fucking ridiculous. And it is part and parcel of the Vance Joseph era of the Denver Broncos. And that motherfucker sucks, and he's got to go. And I hope to fucking hell the Broncos go into Kansas City and get bloodied and beaten and torn from limb to limb, because this organization needs huge changes, and it needs it before I can really be a fan again. I'm sorry.
Well, you followed the Broncos all your life. What are the odds that something like this has happened in the past, maybe when Mike Shanahan was coach, but because we didn't have social media, we didn't have the way news travels, that this stuff just gets swept under the rug?
Oh, I think the odds are they're astronomical that they've happened before.
Yes.
You're right. It's 2018. Von Miller has had this party every year.
Yes.
And you know why they were also mad at Chad Kelly? Because his arrest blew up the party. Guess who doesn't get to have this party next year? Von Miller.
Oh, yeah.
There is no chance. And that's why they were all so upset. Because if he doesn't get arrested, do the costumes get as much attention? No. Now the party has become a storyline. And you've got Emmanuel Sanders today at Dove Valley going, what party? I don't want to talk about a party. I don't want to talk about my costume.
I want to talk about Kansas City.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm with you. This stuff happens all the time. But do you know why people don't really have company parties anymore? Because there's a good chance someone's going to get in trouble because everything's on the phone, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and like I said, they won't be able to have it again, and I'm sure they're pissed. And I'm with you. Vance Joseph sucks, but my point is that Pac-Man Jones has been doing this at every party he's ever gone to, and so this is nothing new. You've got immature people with a lot of alcohol and anything else. They're put in this situation, and for some reason they just can't avoid fucking trouble. They just have to act out. That sucks. Now, to your point. It's probably it is more of a symptom of Vance Joseph not having any control, and they're basically like, fuck this guy. He's gone anyway. We don't really care, so we're just going to do whatever we want. And I think that then they know the season's probably over too, so they're like, fuck it, we don't really care. So begs the question, Vance Joseph, gone? I mean, is he maybe not the end, maybe not in the next couple games, but by the end of the season, right?
Yeah, he's clearly gone. He's not going to survive this offseason. I don't think he'll make it through the season either. I think it'll turn into a Josh McDaniels type thing. 2, 3, 4 games to go, they'll get rid of him. But what I want to know, guys, is why didn't Chad Kelly get more credit for sticking to the theme? Word on the street is he was Woody from Toy Story. Come on, he at least was in the Western theme.
True. Somebody did say that. I saw somebody said
he was dressed as Woody from Toy. He had a red scarf around his neck.
Yes.
That was in the paper. Oh my God, that's awesome! I love the story more now, even more. He was Woody from Toy Story.
He's a child.
Woody from Toy Story broke into your house.
If they're going to cram this, it's theme down our throat, Chad at least followed the theme.
Chad at least followed the theme. So, yeah, that's really good. I hope that's the case. But still, Matt, how bizarre is that you come in and this dude's sitting on your couch talking to your wife?
You know what I'm really fucking sick of hearing today? This has all been today, obviously, but I hope he gets the help he needs. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing you have to say. If you don't say that, then you're insensitive. You know.
I'm insensitive. Fuck you.
I mean,
that guy's been an asshole. He got kicked off his high school football team, his college football team, and now a pro football team. You're an asshole.
Oh, he's a piece of shit. Now we don't want him to die, and I'm sure his family loves him, and so we don't want that. But fuck him. You know, fuck him. What an asshole. What a piece of shit. And I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I thought, you know what? This obviously he's big time. He could be the fucking quarterback of the Denver Broncos before he knows it, and you go and do something fucking stupid like that. Good riddance. Sucks. You know what? Best of luck. But, you know, my thoughts and prayers don't go out to you, Chad Kelly. I don't really give a fuck. We can talk about this some more, but we got to hit the break. We got to hit the halftime already. So
we've hit exactly one thing on my.
Well, this was a pretty big thing, wasn't it?
That was a big thing. And we got another big thing to talk about in the second half.
Okay, we got lots to get to. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Minutemen. Minutemen.
It's the mic on the laptop that's picking you up.
Minutemen.
By the way, your jokes were really good. I just didn't feel like I could laugh at 80% of them.
It's not like you said it yourself.
No, I know.
Yeah, I've been using.
You can't talk. It's picking up all over the place. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That one?
No, that goes to here.
Okay.
No, it's the mic on the laptop.
No, it's picking up like as if you were talking into your mic.
My mic?
No, his.
Try it now.
Well, I have it stopped, so I can't tell if it's going.
You can cut all this shit out, right?
No, my point is that the song's fading out. And he starts to talk, and all of a sudden it's like, bom, 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 and you can see it.
Yeah, it's the mic on the laptop.
It's never done that before.
I know, but things are different now.
Why do things have to be different now?
Can't take this old man.
Fucking
I
loser.
let my daughter use the laptop. Okay,
Jesus.
I might as well just come out and say it.
Your daughter.
She was on
changed the
Skype.
Settings.
I don't want to touch it.
She was on the Skype.
I was gonna say you probably can figure out.
She
how
wouldn't
turn
want to
that
touch it
thing
if she
off,
knew
right?
what
Of
goes
course
on
I
with
can.
that thing.
No, it's fine. Don't mess with it. I guess I don't want.
He's a king taker or something. No, yeah, we'll just deal with it. But yeah, that's the
It
problem.
might have been my mic.
No.
No.
I
It's the
think
mic
it's
and the
that.
laptop.
It's
I
gotta
guarantee
be
fucking to you it is. And that sucker is unbelievably good.
Because she's probably cranking the mic up
Yes,
to talking
to talk
to
to
it.
her
She's not
fucking
using any
stupid
extra
friends on
mic.
stupid fucking whatever. Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, she needs to be punished, and then you need to fucking
My
figure
dad's
this
asleep
out.
and he didn't clear his browser history.
Oh yeah, thank God for fucking like phones now, because like looking at fucking porn on computers and then having to have your kid like get on and play
Dude.
video games.
On the tab, what are they gonna
Especially
call
when, thank God we're past the pop-up era.
Oh
it?
man.
Oh, yeah.
Bang!
Well, because and then they didn't have incognito windows. Then,
Just
so-
go with Dolphin. It's a whole other browser on your tablets. Your wife and kids will never be like, "What the fuck?" They just think it's some other thing.
What is Dolphin? I've never
It's
heard
just a
of it.
web browser, but
Really?
it's not, Chrome or
It's a web browser.
smooth, slippery web browser.
It's an incognito web
Yes.
browser. Yeah.
No, we pretty much just deal with it.
Yeah. Pull up my Dolphin. You type one letter in the search bar. It's like it's gonna autofill something fucking terrible.
Yeah. But that's it's not quite the but that's why I have my phone, so it's like this is no one touches this except for me. So
That's true. Yeah, I have an old iPad too, so it's.
no, so everyone uses the iPad, so it's like
Yeah, I got my wife her own. It was.
you're like, hey honey, I got your own iPad. What? Why did you get me on my own iPad? Oh, no reason.
Standard holiday, like it's like Christmas Eve. I don't have shit. I'm like, fuck. Like the longer I wait to buy the present,
You're admitting this live, right? You know
the
that.
more expensive it's gonna be. Yeah, she doesn't. She's
Yeah, I
not
know.
on this shit.
Oh yeah,
She doesn't follow YouTube and podcasts.
good for her.
She's kicking fucking ass in my fantasy league that I run. It's driving me crazy. Her team is so good.
Who's that?
My wife.
Oh really?
My wife who could give two shits.
Oh, no
is
shit?
Stomping.
What did she do? She
She's got
drafted.
Mahomes. So she's got
Anybody with Mahomes is like fucking
halfway home.
yeah. It
She's got
sucks.
Tariq Cohen. She's got Kelsey and Ertz.
Ah damn.
Yeah, and there's auction. So it's like,
Are you in the MFL that we did? Did you do that
No,
one?
I want to do one of those. I've never done one.
It's really cool, and I was kicking ass, but then the dude who has Mahomes has just outpaced me. Like he's ahead of me by like 80 points now, and I'm like I was killing everybody for a while. I'm like I don't know if I can catch him.
So I feel in the Platinum League. Jesus Christ, I'm second in points. I'm like 4-3.
Yeah, well, that'll average out once you start getting some wins. I just got to get a couple wins there. I'm fucking dying. Well, that was Snoop Cal, who I hope's watching this.
Yeah, dude. What
What the fuck? That was
the giving
I know.
Mahomes for DT? I'm not.
well, like
seasoned
hold on
enough,
to him.
I'm private in this league, so I can't say shit. But I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Well, I was
Thank
thinking, like,
God her team is doing.
I
something.
know. Yeah,
That's the only reason I didn't. Say
I was like, oh, go ahead,
Okay.
take him. I was like,
Yeah.
get him off that fucking team.
Make
He's
your
like a
team worse because she's already down in the cellar, so that's fine. But that was a lopsided.
good
fucking
lord,
trade.
man. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Oh, and fucking Captain Bronco traded.
Oh, I know.
Who did he trade?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill
God
for
damn it, the other
Adrian
guy.
Peterson and somebody else.
I know that
It
was.
was like,
That's gonna play out. Like he's gonna be a contender now.
although that was John, and John lost Freeman. So
But John's won before, so John knows what he's doing.
John knows what he's doing. Yeah. Oh yeah, but it's like these dummies. They're making these fucking trades.
He drafted some quarterback. He's like, I'm just drafting him so no one else gets him. I went 12 rounds with no QB. Thank God Matt Ryan panned out because we've all fucking. What I need to learn how to do is to not hold grudges against players.
Yeah.
It's like I had the first year I was in your league, I had Hopkins as my first round pick. He sucked. I was like, never again. Last year, Jordy Nelson burned me. I'm like, never again. I'm like, what? I gotta forgive these fucking. I need to be like, anytime I say never again, I need to go get that guy because I'm wrong.
The other thing that I didn't list, I did this last year and it worked out for me is if you drafted somebody that you're like, I know this guy's good, I know this is going to be a good situation, it might not be right now, is sticking with it. And you're just like, because then you go, oh, this sucks, I don't like this guy, and then you get rid of him. And I did that with Marlon Mack.
I did that with him too.
I got rid of him because I was like, he's gonna be hurt this whole fucking time. I got rid of him, and then I was like, then I got Hines, and I was like, well, this is good. I got him, and he's okay. But I dropped Mack, and I'm like, now I'm getting fucking my ass handed to me by him. So, like, damn it.
I'm sorry, guys. It's just fucking you care if I run piss real quick?
No.
Talk some fantasy. You know, I had real Sophie's choice tonight because I have the Toronto goalie and the Jets goalie, and they're playing each other.
Oh shit! And Toronto was up big.
So I was like, well, I should only play one because I don't want to take the loss in one. So of course I'm looking. You look at the Vegas.
Look at the odds.
I look at the Vegas line. I'm like, oh, it looks like Winnipeg's supposed to be, Winnipeg's supposed to win it. And I said, okay, that's fine. At least I get the win out of it. Of course, didn't get the win. But I should have played both because I'd be guaranteed a win. I'd have to take a loss, but I still was like 50-50 if I'd take a loss if I only played one. So, and I picked the wrong one. So, yeah.
The worst, too, is when your star player is playing your stud defense in fantasy football. You know,
Yep.
You got freaking Todd Gurley playing I don't know, God knows who's even good at defense in the NFL
His
anymore.
team.
His team, yeah.
Todd Gurley playing himself.
Yeah, that's a situation where he's still gonna produce.
You just got to get like a pick six.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made some bad decisions the last couple weeks. I can't figure out which running backs to play, and I pick the wrong one every week. So
Are you using football guys?
yeah, but here's the problem with looking at rankings is you go to one site and you got three guys. They've all got it slightly different, and you're like, well, shit. This two guys have this, and then one guy has it different, right?
Yeah.
And so you
sometimes
can't
you
figure out.
got to go with your gut.
Well, I know. So I was playing Alex Collins all these weeks.
Alex Collins isn't doing shit.
Fuck Alex Collins. Oh,
I've got the same problem.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, right? Oh, I got to play Alex Collins. Doesn't
Fuck
do
yeah.
anything. Yeah. Oh, Deion Lewis hasn't done shit. Well, I'm benching Deion Lewis. Deion Lewis has a huge game. Not huge, but pretty good game last week. It's maddening. It's fucking killing me. So, anyway, that's fantasy chat.
By the way, they ruled when Scott got sides, so it's 0-0 after the first.
Yeah, they called that back.
Damn. My degenerate self was on him to score the first goal.
I'm going to do a read, and then you're going to bring in sports.
Well, I've got McKinnon and Rantanen in daily,
There you go.
and so I need those guys.
You cool if I dive into this, Colin? Or is this one yours?
You do what you
Get
want.
after it.
Yeah, I'm staying away from fantasy hockey. Hockey's so nice to just.
No, fantasy hockey's fun, dude.
Is it really?
Daily's a fucking blast.
No
It's
shit.
aggravating because I'm like listening to the Panthers Islanders game. Going, God damn it, kid! I'm like,
And there is that fine line if it's fun and also like, fuck, dude, what am I doing?
I'm like now I'm all pissed off.
Yeah.
because I'm pissed off over the Islanders.
It's an
game.
I'm sure that's how you are with
Tuesday
baseball
night,
too.
I'm
Like,
pissed about the Islanders.
with baseball, I feel like I got in a fucking 12-round fight and lost. Like, did you see Scott's transactions that final week?
You know what I'm gonna
He made
do?
150 ab drops at least
And
during that 1 week.
And you know what? When Colin and I play in Ryan Bowling's hockey league, and because we did that one year, we ad dropped the last week and just and we're like going for it. They instilled like a limit,
Max pickup.
and I'm going to do that this next year because he did that.
Yeah. I have all kinds of suggestions since I lost in the championship round. But yeah,
But that's one of them because you should have a daily, a weekly limit, and then you should have a yearly limit. Just because, so when you get to the end in the last week, you can't make
a new team.
Yeah, you can't make a whole new team. You have to stick because I did that. I burned out. I got beat in the playoffs of our fantasy hockey league because I ran out of ad drops because I had only 10 in that 1 week, and I was out, and if I had made a switch for goalie, blah blah blah.
Maybe get rid of auto drafting too. I forgot to tell you, it's a good thing I didn't have your phone number because during that championship week, like DeGrom and Sale, when they had their outings, they got strikeouts, they fucking got wins, they kicked ass, and then I dropped them to add more guys, and there was a brief moment on Yahoo where it removed their stats.
Oh, what?
Oh, and like I lost my. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm just seeing Scott over here. I'm fucking. It's like Trump's lies. I'm just fucking dizzy with all this goddamn shit going on. Like he's adding and dropping. So I thought, like, since I dropped those guys midweek, I lost their tallies for the week, which that makes no sense. But there was like a brief period where all of a sudden my strikeouts dropped by 25. My wins dropped. I was like,
that's so good.
Oh my god! I fucking started these guys. I lost it all.
I'm glad you didn't call me.
Yeah, no, but I
wouldn't have answered. I'll tell you that right now.
It's so dumb. I mean, a free league and everything, but like,
hey man, you gotta compete.
Yeah, I mean, I was all about it. Like, I wanted to fucking.
Well, we're gonna put an end to that next year with the
no auto drafting.
Well,
what are you gonna do if somebody can't?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But no, there'll be because there's an innings limit, so there needs to be a acquisition limit too.
I wrote a quiz. A 20-question, very rapid quiz.
Excellent.
So we can use that. We can use that in the fourth.
Okay, so we're just going right into sports after your ads?
Well, right. I do the read, and then you do sports. It's that easy, baby. So sports is this song from the Tim and Eric Awesome Show.
Okay.
And the only word is sports. And
we
just yell sports. It's easy.
Do you want me to yell sports?
Oh yeah, yell whatever you want.
So I'm gonna unmute everybody right now.
Okay. Hello.
Fancast.
Big Three Stooges fans, huh? So Three Stooges used to.
Hello.
All right, you guys ready? You ready for a read?
Let's do it.
Mutiny Information Cafe, right up the road at Ellsworth and Broadway. Excellent coffee shop with ice cubes made out of coffee. So you get nice coffee. It's not going to get watered down at Mutiny Information Cafe, where you can check out a vast selection of used books, new and used vinyl, pins, patches, memorabilia, T-shirts. Stop by Mutiny Information Cafe. Say hi to Matt. And please, when you do, let those guys know you heard about them on the South Stands.
Sports!
Yeah! Woo! Do.
Extended version.
Such a tease.
It's called foreplay, baby.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm gonna nut. Oh. Sports! 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 Yeah! Oh, I love sports! Sports. So that's how that works, bro.
We have sports to talk about. Well, not even sports culture to talk about. So it's good. Usually, like, you get in the summertime, it's pretty lean. You know, we were talking Rockies, but you got to kind of, find stuff to talk about. But there's actually things to discuss.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
So, good stuff. I know people, they wanted all the dirt. They wanted all the dirt on this Chad Kelly thing. And I don't know if anybody knows much dirt other than, just kind of a couple things that we brought up. But I just wanted to put a bow on it, as they say. And, just kind of say that, it's gross, and it's really kind of indicative of where the Broncos have gone over the last few years. Short time, too, from Super Bowl to having your crooked-eyed quarterback on the cover of TMZ and mugshots everywhere. It's pretty gross. I think it's.
And I think that nothing is going to change permanently. And this is just one of those great podcast segues until the ownership situation changes. And this is something that Will and I have discussed at times. What's going to happen? I mean, obviously now Brittany Boland has stated that she'd like to be the operating owner of the
Denver me Broncos. Too, baby.
Yeah, it's like me coming out and saying, you know what, I want to own the team. Someone give them to me.
Well, no, is there going to be a resolution in the offseason, you think?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
I think that here, let's break this down a little bit. Beth
you've got the trust.
You've got the trust. And the trust is Joe Ellis, Rich Slivka, longtime Broncos employees, and Mary Kelly, who's Pat Boland's attorney. In theory, the trust has to be on the same page with what to do with the team.
But it's like a 2 out of 3 vote, right?
You would think so, that they can outvote 2-1. And right now, Beth Boland can chirp all she wants. She's not getting the team. First of all, Beth Boland had her chance with the Broncos.
I thought it was Brittany that said she wanted the team.
Well,
now they both have.
Beth went public to Nikki a few months ago.
Brittany's the one just the other day.
Brittany the other day. Yeah. Now, here's the advantages Brittany has going for her. One, she hasn't screwed up her relationship with the team because she didn't go and work for them and was a total mess up. Beth went and worked for the Broncos years ago, and they weren't a fan. Management wasn't a fan. Brittany also is from Pat's second marriage. Brittany is Annabelle's daughter. Beth is from the first marriage. Beth will never get this team because look at it. She's in her mid-40s. She went to law school. She did all the things the trust says she has to do, and then Joe Ellis says, she's not quite ready yet. And people go, well, why not? And she goes, I'm not commenting any further on that. Code for, I will never give her this team ever. Now what they're doing is they're identifying Brittany. Brittany is my age. She's 28 years old. She's at least 5 years away.
And she dots the I with a heart.
Do you guys think that Joe Ellis and Mary Kelly and Rich Slivka are going to hang on to this thing for another 5 years just to get Brittany ready? No. And as the headlines came out in July, and this is from Nikki Javala, who I trust a lot, her headline on The Athletic was Brittany or sell. Read between the lines. This team will be sold, in my opinion, in this offseason or the next offseason. I can't imagine they hold on for another 5 years to groom Brittany.
Well,
I got a headline. It's not Brittany, bitch.
I get that. Yeah, that's awesome. Come on. What the fuck was the point I was going to make before your awesome comment?
So great.
God damn it. No, but fuck.
No, stupid. No, all that makes sense, and I think it does point to that they're just going to sell it. But if you were Brittany, wouldn't you be like, hey, I kind of want this team. Can I get the team? You'd think you'd be like, can't we put somebody in place to bring me along in 5 years? Because they don't give a fuck. They're out of there, right? They'd be like, well, we're going to give it to you. That's what Pat wanted. Let's get the fuck out.
No. Joe Ellis cares too much about the team. I honestly believe that. Now, he doesn't want to spend much more time down here.
Joe Ellis and John Elway are going to work for 28-year-old Brittany Boland?
No. But what I'm saying is they install somebody. They go, here's the person you're gonna answer to for the next 5 years, and then we're gonna let you two hash it out, and we're out of here. Can they do that?
I don't think that's honoring the trust, though. I don't think that's honoring what Pat wants. I think Pat's very clear in the trust. Either give it to a kid or sell it. One or the other. Well, the other option is blood of the city, Johnny Boland. He's not going to get it.
He's sitting on somebody's couch getting hit with a vacuum tube right now.
They clearly have identified Brittany as the favorite. Joe Ellis is going to have to decide he wants to stick this thing out for the long run. Now, when you have Peyton Manning...
Well, as we've discussed, Joe Ellis prefers to spend his time in Maine. He's a member of the Bush family, along with your friend Walker Stapleton, by the way. They're actually related. But he doesn't want to continue to fly to Denver and deal with all of this madness. And certainly not deal with a feud between the Boland kids.
Do you think Joe Ellis woke up yesterday and said, Chad Kelly got arrested. I'm glad I get to go to work today.
Ooh, boy, this is awesome.
I mean, think about it. If you're Joe Ellis, you've made a ton of money. You've got to play de facto NFL owner. You won a Super Bowl as
You're
a
part of the
NFL
New World
owner.
Order. You've got a room underneath DIA. Come on.
I totally get it, and I wouldn't want to stick around either. I think obviously that they could probably sell it, but let's say your man, you think you're the one dude's going to be the owner or whatever. But I mean,
Charlie Ergen.
Everyone's going to have a battle plan, right? So they would have to give Brittany a battle plan and say, okay, you're going to have this person here. They're going to do this. Pat Bowlen is obviously, everyone always says, great owner. He was fantastic. And part of the reason why is he let people do their jobs. He just kind of hung out and stand there and nod.
And he would write a check when he had to.
He'd write a check when he had to. He wasn't Jerry Jones. He'd fucking meddle all the time. So it would be kind of the same thing. Hey, do like what your dad did. Be on some decisions, but let these people do the work for you.
But hang on. Here's where I think people get confused. Is if they sell the team, that means the Bowlen kids can start suing the Broncos and suing the NFL. No, they can't. If they sell the team, the Bowlen family gets their money, and then they are no longer affiliated with the Denver Broncos.
Gone.
So if Brittany Bowlen says, I'm suing the Broncos, Roger Goodell says, no, this team was sold in a private transaction. Your family got your money. Go sue each other in court. We're no longer a part
and Westward is praying that happens. Sell the team, give the money to the kids, and watch the sparks fly. Westward will live off of that for 5 years.
If Charlie Ergen, who you brought his name up, he's worth $10 billion, whatever. He founded Dish Network their headquarters are over in Littleton. Say he writes a check tomorrow for $2.6 billion. And Brittany and Johnny Bowlen go, no, can't do that. Roger Goodell goes, yeah, he can't. They sold the team. You cannot sue him. Your family is private citizens who get the $2.6 billion.
If the trust says, yes, we are selling it. Yes.
Exactly. If Joe Ellis.
Barely more than a mega million.
Yeah. If Joe Ellis and Mary Kelly say, we sold it for $2.6 billion, the kids can't do anything.
And now if you're Beth Bowlen and you're like, I know I don't have a chance to get this fucking team. She's probably just raising hell just to get her name in there. But wouldn't you just take that payout and be like,
oh yeah, you would never work another day in your life. No. You could go to Puerto Vallarta and go, I think I'll have this resort, please.
Yeah. I get it. Everyone wants to own an NFL team. It's very.
I got a lot of clout in an NFL team. I'd like to sell one.
I'd like to be the blood of the city and reap the benefits and fucking not have to do the day to day. But speaking of the blood of the city, briefly before I assume we're getting close to break. If not Chad Kelly is blood of the city too.
No, John Elway is the real blood of the city. And I'd like to ask Will, is all of this? Let's say the team is sold or it's not. Either way. I heard DMAC make a really fascinating point the other day that I had not heard made, and that is that John Elway predates Pat Bowlen in this organization. When he was drafted, Edward Kaiser owned the team. So if there's if there's a prince of the Broncos, there's no denying that it's John Elway. What should his role be within the organization if it's not owner or de facto owner or acting owner or partner? He's not been the world's greatest general manager. Where do we go from here with the real blood of the city, John Elway?
I think if the team is sold, John Elway will be told, appreciate your services. We're bringing in a new regime.
And we're putting a statue of you in front of Mile High Stadium.
Why would a new owner relinquish all their power immediately to John Elway? The reason John Elway has so much power right now is because him and Joe Ellis don't have a boss. There is no boss at Dove Valley. I have heard so many different times Joe Ellis can fire John Elway, and then I've heard actually John Elway is unfireable because there's no boss, because the trust would never agree to it, because that wasn't addressed in Pat's wishes. It's unbelievable to me that people don't talk about the Broncos' dysfunction boils down to this: there is no boss.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't they though? And I get that, because if I paid all that money, I'd be like, I'm the boss. I'm the boss now. So,
I'm the $2.6 billion man.
Yeah, I'm the man now. So, Mr. Elway, again, thank you for your service. But wouldn't they keep him around in like a almost like kind of like Chauncey Billups shows up for the Nuggets?
Carl Mecklenburg.
Yeah, and like waves and everything. He'd be like, look, John, we're gonna, we'll give you a title, whatever, and you can show up and wave, and we'll pay you a couple $100,000 a year just to do it. I think that's probably where it would go. It would
be $500,000 a year.
Would John want to do that though?
Yeah, maybe not. But
he's won 3 titles, 2 as a player, 1 as a GM. New owner comes in, it's almost like you're just starting it clean.
Yeah, but doesn't he prefer golf and scotch to actually working? Doesn't he prefer just to be fucking around? Wouldn't you prefer
fuck it?
Well, I'd be like, hey, you want me to show up and wave every fucking couple times, and I get $500,000 a year, and I can go golf and drink all day? Sign me up.
You can go to those black tie galas and get blown in the bathroom by hot.
Whoa, you got a scoop? You got a scoop? Is that a scoop? You got a scoop?
I should have called scoop.
Well, look at what Peyton Manning's doing right now. Everyone is clamoring for Peyton Manning to get his next job.
Love him.
What's Peyton's gig? Yep. You know what Peyton's gig is? Sitting in a box watching Eli on Monday Night Football.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning hangs out with his kids, takes them to fucking soccer practice, then he goes and sits in a box and he waves, and then he's making tons of money, and then now he's going to be on ESPN at some point. And that's a gig right there. That's an awesome gig, and that's what Elway should be doing. But that's how it goes. So, hey, let's get in the fourth quarter.
That was fucking awesome.
That's good stuff.
First quarter a little slow.
That
quarter packed.
I woke up. I got some alcohol. You know what gets me woken up? A little alcohol gets me woken up. I'm gonna need some more, Colin. You got some more alcohol?
That makes 4 of us.
You got some more alcohol downstairs?
Oh yeah.
Give me some of that alcohol, man. That's my Tyrone Biggums. Oh yeah. Little snowblind for you. For who was Bobby Brown? Was it?
It's Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall was Bobby Brown. This is for you, Brandon Marshall. Snowblind. Let's get in the fourth quarter.
Crack is whack.
Crack is whack. Up with hope, down with dope. Be right back. Cocaine! Bring it out. Okay.
Here's my thought.
Get your thought, because I got to take a whiz.
Oh yeah, me too. And grab more beer. Rather than a read, coming into the next segment, let's bust out this quiz instead of a read.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
And then that way it won't break the tempo of the show, the outlier. Because I put a lot of time into it.
How many sales have you closed based on the quality of your bathroom down there? Jesus, it's fucking nice.
I know that's a good sparkly.
No, I was like, shit. How many fucking motor shops have this? It's a strong move.
Blanca comes by once every 2 weeks.
Nice. Blanca Bueno.
Yeah. Blanca's nephew does my windows.
That was a good segment.
That was a really good segment. Yeah, we started out a little slow. It's been 5 weeks since
we can tie a bow on the end of the flag.
I was going to text you.
I didn't really tell anyone why.
Well, we'll probably go overtime.
Okay.
I was going to tweet at you. My buddy was like, what the fuck's up with the fan cast? Is it done? I'm like, no. He's newer. He was about a year into it. And I'm like, scheduling is not predictable. But ever since I've showed it to him.
Well, it should be more, but this summer, dude.
Al Wilson, my man?
No.
Who is that?
No, that is
older.
That is Al Wilson, dude. 56, Al Wilson.
I mean, he
that clearly says Al Wilson.
Yeah, that's Al Wilson.
This is amazing. This is fucking hysterical.
That's the best shit ever.
Oh my god, that guy actually blows me up all the time too. He's a douchebag. 52.
Oh, I blocked him a long time ago.
Yeah, he was so mad at me yesterday for calling it a cocaine theme party.
So you're an idiot. It's not a cocaine
I was
theme
at a
party.
Nuggets game.
Dude, the subtitle of this week's show has got to be a cocaine themed party.
I got cocaine running around in my brain. I need to find that song.
I specifically wrote this quiz for you to crush John.
All right, sounds good. Are you gonna smoke one more?
Yeah.
Smoking kills. Put your ashtray right there. So it's certainly what you stop.
Well, yeah, and that's what I probably should have said to start. Like, make sure you say what you're comfortable saying.
Right. Well, all of that time. Like, you guys are hysterical. Dropping F-bombs and this and fuck that. And I wish I could say all that, but it's also like, I also got the program director, the fan, listening to my shit as we speak. So
yeah, we don't want to get anybody in trouble. We've gotten people in trouble. So, but really, it's kind of people can get themselves in trouble or not in trouble. So
right, and I think I've been right.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
But I would love to, if you guys wanted to say, so what is Vic Lombardi like in real life? Well, spend a segment on that.
I have a few thoughts on him because
I sat in the same room with the guy for 2.5 years every day.
Is he that tough? I mean, the amount of times he talks about, it's gonna go to blows. We're fighting. Like I'm in time to North Denver.
Dude, he's like this tall.
I know. I'm like I've never met anyone tough that talks about it.
What's going on here?
I don't know, dude. I sat down and this thing just fucking
Shit, you probably know better than I would.
I know. It's basically just screwing it back on.
Here, I got
Jake, you need the executive senior producer.
Yeah, no, Vic's awesome. I mean,
Vic's
he's a legend.
I think it's cool what he does, but I'm like, there was just a couple there was like a month stretch where every time I turned in, he's like, if this goes down, we're fighting.
I love it. It gave me so many opportunities, but just being the guy producers.
But I love the native and the local. Sounds like he grew up in the Highlands and it was a real shithole. Fucking sucked.
He was in North Denver,
we had him years ago, and he lived nearby where Scott lived up in Golden, and so he came over to Scott's house, and we recorded in his living room.
That was before. I got him right around the Tebow.
Okay.
I just downloaded Stitcher to my phone, and then it had all these comedy, news, current events.
I think you're good there. I think it's here is the problem, but I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I loaded up Stitcher, and one of the categories was local, and I hit local, and this show came up, and I started listening to it. I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is what I've been looking for."
You guys don't give a shit.
Those assholes at Colorado Sports Guys, they tried to claim that they were first, and they were not.
Oh yeah, there's no way they were. I wanted to make a podcast, and it was like I listened to this. I'm like, they're doing what I want to do better. Because you know how it is when you first discover podcasts, you're like, holy shit, this is like a new fucking woman. Like this is the greatest thing ever.
I was
that was like Adam Carolla.
Colin talked to somebody early on and had him listen to it, and the guy was like, "Oh, you'll never get anywhere talking like that." He goes, "You can't talk like that. It's not. You just can't do it."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, fuck that." First, I said,
"Yeah."
I said that first.
That. Fuck you.
And I was like, "No, I get it. I understand, but and that has its limitations. But if you look at how things have gone, kind of how they've progressed, really, it's kind of a free for all now, and you can do it every.
Look at Barstool Sports, dude.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You guys were Barstool Sports 15 years before Barstool Sports.
That's what
you can do whatever the fuck you want, and that's the norm now. So
the one area left, and I mean, there's too many licensing laws, but I've maintained for a couple decades now. If you could have a sports broadcasting network that just allowed profanity, like he went over the middle and got the fuck knocked out.
Oh, well,
like
Bob Menery, Bob Menery's killing it.
Yeah, like I mean, I would watch a game with not where there's everybody cussing every.
Everybody,
everything,
no,
but
Bob,
like,
yeah,
just
Bob
when
Menery's
it's
like a
appropriate,
godsend.
like,
Like this, I want this.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna do the quiz right now, and then so here's the way the quiz is gonna work. It's called "Say My Motherfucking Name." It's the name of the quiz, and it's the Kroenke edition.
Whoa.
So everybody-
I'm a Kroenke man. Did you know that?
I know.
I'm a Kroenke man. I
So-
love my Rams. I love my Nuggets. I love my
Then
abs.
maybe
I love
won't-
my Arsenal.
You should
Maybe
get into
Will
my-
won't smoke you.
My one meeting with Stan. I met Stan. We can talk about that.
Oh, let's do right after the quiz.
Okay.
Coming into we'll after the quiz, you drop a song in.
No, I gotta find something. That's
We'll find something while we do the quiz.
It's like Scott's here.
God damn it, Scott. Hurry up. We can do the quiz while he finds a song, right? Well,
But I want him to be in the quiz.
Oh, okay. We need to stop coughing first before we do the quiz.
That'll happen. Yeah, that's perfect. Something with lots of laws.
La, la, la.
for LA baby.
You know, LA Baby got her new Trump shirt, and I was thinking, you need to be careful wearing that thing.
Isn't that the girl you went to Taylor Swift with? What's her name?
That's
Lauren
a hell of an
Anderson.
arrangement.
Loves herself
I don't
some
know.
Trump.
She's LA Baby on Twitter, but I want to talk about this.
She's a big Trump fan.
She recently got banned from Twitter, just like your friend, Miss Uncle Vicious.
Uncle Vicious.
I saw you met up with Mr. Sinister.
I did, and I want to talk about that too. So we'll talk about Twitter.
That guy blocked me.
He blocked a lot of
You know what? He didn't.
John
block.
blocked him.
No, I did not block him.
Oh,
I did not block him. He did not block me. But we do not follow each other anymore.
Fascinating guy. I'll talk about it. All right.
Too many fucking weirdos to talk about.
A lot of
I
weirdos.
was gonna say we may need to do it.
We need to do a weirdo cast.
Lauren's a weirdo, but she's fucking awesome.
That's the only hardcore Trump supporter that I will ever give the time of day to.
It's very tongue in cheek in her case.
I was gonna say a lot of Trump supporters are shtick.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's her.
There's some shtick.
It's her
but-
shtick. Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Oh, do you want a song first?
No.
No,
Okay.
no song first.
Hit it.
Mics
I'm
are
just
hot.
gonna go straight
Mics are-
into it.
Mics are hot.
Oh, well, yeah, they're hot,
Mics are
baby.
so-
Welcome to the game show. Say my motherfucking name. Your competitors are John Reedy, Bronco Jeff,
That's right, baby.
and Will H.W. Peterson. This is the Kroenke edition of the new game, Say My Motherfucking Name. The way this is going to work, I'm just going to start reading a clue. Whoever says my motherfucking name first, I'm going to give them credit for the question. So here we go. Even though the fans were chanting "suck for Seth," the Avalanche used the first pick on
Andy
Indeed.
McKinnon.
Among Kroenke's real estate holdings are the location of the new LA football stadium, Denver's Paramount Theater, Elitch Gardens, Pepsi Center, First Bank Center in Broomfield, and this edifice in Commerce City.
Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
I'm going with Will on that.
He got it.
I was selected by the Kroenke's LA Rams with the first
Jared
overall.
Goff.
I was drafted by Portland and played shooting guard there from 2012 to 2015 before joining the Nuggets for the
Will
26th.
Barton.
Not a Kroenke man, apparently.
I'm
I
tied
used to
with
work for that guy.
That's right.
I'm tied with Victor Hedman and Daniel Sedin as the second highest Swedish draft picks in NHL
Dave
history.
Landeskog.
This is going Will's way.
Wow.
I surpassed Lane Kiffin as the youngest head coach ever
Sean
hired.
McVay.
We just let the guest win. That's
Yeah,
really-
like Will, I am ravishing and a former Kroenke sports employee. When my contract wasn't renewed after the 2017 season, I departed the NBA sidelines for the Big Ten Network.
Allie Stern.
Yeah!
I only know that because you just talked about her for
I've
years.
had a relationship with Ellie Stern. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. It's not very good at TV. I was born and raised in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, where my Jamaican father moved at the age of 9.
Jamal Murray.
Wow, John catching up, man.
Staging a comeback.
From 2002 to 2006, Cronky Sports owned this now defunct motherfucking motorsports event in downtown Denver.
Grand Prix.
Bronco.
Wow, Bronco Jeff.
Bronco Jeff kicking it old school. Oh, J and J are the same. Oh, I'm going to go B. All right. I'm probably the only Cronky employee from my hometown of Sorber, Serbia.
Nikola Jokic.
Serbia.
Serbia.
We actually had a producer from there too.
From Serbia.
One of our board ops.
I guess the thing with he and Nurkic was that one was Boz and one was Serb, and
That's bad.
that didn't work well.
That's got to be a dynamic.
After a decade-long career in hockey's minor leagues, I was at various times the head coach of the South Carolina Stingrays, Springfield Falcons.
Jared Bednar?
John, another score there. This Cronky-owned Denver club won its only league championship in 2010.
Colorado Rapids.
Damn.
I was born in Independence, Kansas, and played for the
Scott
Knicks.
Hastings.
I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I played for Duke, and I have a brother named Miles.
Mason Plumlee.
I played my entire 21-year career for the Nordiques Avalanche
Joe
franchise.
Sakic.
Peter Forsberg.
I served as a sideline reporter and studio host for Mountain West Sports Network, FSN Rocky Mountain, Fox College Sports, and Altitude Sports and Entertainment, and also served as a reporter for the Lingerie Football League.
Lauren Gardner?
Damn.
Did I get that?
Yeah.
Damn.
While living in, when we first
Hey,
had her
that's-
on the show,
Oh, it would've been
we've
better.
had her on
Quite a
twice.
resume.
We've had her on twice. The first time, she still worked for the Lingerie Football League. While living in Columbia, Missouri, I was involved in a scandal that would lead to Larry
Josh
Eustace.
Kroenke. Love Josh.
Stan Kroenke isn't only involved in American sports teams. In 2011, he
Arsenal.
took John.
Cronky, man.
In late 2017, KSE developed its very first esports franchise, the LA Gladiators, who compete at this popular video game.
Fortnite.
No, it's
World of Warcraft.
This is a huge point for you, John.
Call of Duty.
Halo.
Do, 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 do,
I know it.
Madden 2018.
Fuck, I knew it.
It's Overwatch.
Ah!
And your champion of the Say My Motherfucking Name Cronky Sports Edition, Will H.W. Peterson.
Thank you.
Great job, Will. That's really good. La la la. La la la. Bring him up. Bring him up. Mike's up. There you go. No, you don't have to bring the music down though. Let it ride a little bit. Because I just did talk nonsense for 30 seconds.
I am rusty.
It's fine. Thank you for filling in for Scott, Jeff. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Scott, for having me. And you guys too.
Whenever I'm like talking like trivia, like I know all this trivia, my wife's like, you got to compete, you got to go on some show, blah blah. But I'm so slow because my addled brain can't do it fast. Like if you gave me like a minute to think about the question, I'd be like, oh, Lauren Gardner, that makes sense after I thought about it, but I can't do it quick. It just doesn't happen anymore for me.
Well, Will's young.
He's young.
Just
His
bright.
synapses are firing much faster than my old synapses. So,
Speaking of Will's synapses.
yeah, let's talk about Will for.
Yeah, let's just talk about Will for a minute. Will, you came out of the closet this year, and I wanted to query you.
Query you.
Query you.
But-
Sorry.
Wow.
Bad use of
Wow.
language. I wanted to inquire about how your experience went and what was it like. And I also wanted to pay you a kind of a backhanded, I think, compliment. And I don't really know how to handle this one. What I really have enjoyed in your post having come out persona is that it's not an outward thing. And to all flamboyant gay men, I wish to issue an apology here, but your lack
going great.
flamboyance,
It's going really well.
your lack of flamboyance makes it, to me, I think, in a way more valuable, because in a way you are saying I'm a gay man and it doesn't have to be my thing.
Well, yeah. First of all, I appreciate that really backhanded compliment there. That was great. No, but here's how it went down. I decided I was going to tell sort of kind of friends and family that didn't already know, and that all went fine. And I was frustrated.
How many people
did family know? Like,
how many people did know?
Your close family?
My two best friends knew, and that was it. So close family did not.
I talked to a person that sat at a desk across from you for many years, Meterick Mars, and he said, I had no fucking idea.
No one really did, and that's where it became tough, because you can get yourself further into the closet when you think it's a big deal because no one can figure it out, right? Here's what happened: was I decided to tell friends and family, and that all went fine. And then I decided to post about it on Facebook, and that all went great, tremendously well. And then I decided to write an article about it for Mile High Sports, and that went really well. And then the next day, I wrote it on a Tuesday night, about 6:45 a.m., Vic said, let's talk about this on the show. And I said, no, we're not talking about it. And he goes, you sure? I said, we're not talking about it. He goes, dude, it's all good. I want to talk about it. No, we're good. He said, all right. And he respected that, and we dove right into it and talked whatever the hell we talked about that morning. Broncos, Nuggets, I can't even remember. Because, to your point, it doesn't define me. I'm not trying to come on here and I'm gay, and everyone should give me a standing ovation, a round of applause for how brave I am. No, it's just a part of me. It's something I wanted to tell people, and then I want it to be defined as a sports talk host, not as the gay sports talk host or the gay sports writer.
And more people are kind of coming to that realization where it's kind of like, this is just a person. This is just an aspect of their who they are that shouldn't really matter one way or the other. And I know a lot of people like that, where they're like, I don't want this to define me. I just want it's good. Hey, here it is. Here's the information.
Well, and to me, it's a lot like being a pot smoker in Denver in 2018. There was a time at which you whispered it to friends of yours and close family members, and you did. But then there were other people who made that their persona. The people that have the marijuana leaves on their hat and their T-shirt. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the gay community. I love the concept of nobody cares.
Yes.
It doesn't fucking matter. And the way you're living it, from my perspective as an observer, is that your perspective is it doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with anything beyond my sexuality. And my sexuality was none of your business to begin with. And so why should it change how you hear me, how you see me, how you interpret the things I say?
Well, and I'll tell you this much. Someone who I knew at the University of Missouri, and just a friend, nothing more than that, just a friend, was Michael Sam. Michael Sam and I were the same age at the University of Missouri. We were friends. I knew Michael. Michael became the gay football player, and that blew up in Michael's face. And I vividly remember watching Michael and Vito making out on national television after he got drafted, and Michael doing the Oprah reality show, and it all kind of blew up in Michael's face. Now, is any of that Michael's fault? No, but Michael tried to become the gay football player, and it didn't work because people didn't care. They wanted to see the football player. So I was never going to become the gay sports writer, the gay sports talk host. No, I'm just a sports talk host or a sports writer. This is one tiny element of me. And until I've talked about it with you guys tonight, I have not talked about it into a hot mic with anyone. I don't care that we're talking about it now, but it wasn't something I was going to let define me because I saw someone like Michael Sam try to overly embrace it, and it blew up his career.
Yeah, unless it's like a shtick where you're like, hey, I'm the gay sports guy. You know, it's like then it shouldn't even be an issue. You know,
right.
But it's probably also something that you needed to get out of the way and say, hey, everybody, just in case you know. I had to get it off my chest because it had been building for so long. When you go to the University of Missouri as an 18-year-old and join a fraternity and hear the word
faggot tossed around like it's nobody's business, you drive yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into this is an issue kind of thing. Even in my industry, listen, I won't name names, but there are people in this town who, before they knew, who you guys would know very well, use that word very liberally when they're not on radio, not on TV, whatever. And it's, man, you go to a Midwest school, you join a fraternity, you're in sports, and you hear that word, it can drive you deeper in. I finally sort of hit a breaking point. It all kind of came out in this, at times I had regrets about how it all sort of went down, but we're here now today, and it's all fine. And as you guys said, no one gives a shit.
What's your perception of the population within the professional athlete community that is closeted?
Same as standard population. I would say it's anywhere between 8 and 10%. I would say there are guys who we are cheering for in this town who are gay.
Absolutely.
Of course there are. I mean, I think that goes without saying.
But now hold on, though. Whereas if you work in an office and you're kind of like, hey, everybody, I just want you to know, I'm gay. The athlete in whatever sport, there's probably ones that are a little more prohibitive for them to admit it. They're not going to come out and do it just because of the fallout that's going to come from it. A lot of times, most teammates are probably like, right on, bro, that's cool. But then the media attention, everything's going to come from it.
Then there's the Pac-Man Joneses of the world.
But I would venture to know that the majority of the teammates, or venture to say that the majority of the teammates actually know. And
probably all right.
We don't let this leave this locker room, whatever. I'm, never going to ever out anyone in this town, but there are a handful of people in this town that I know for a fact that are gay, that are in the closet, and you have to respect that because it's never anyone's business to out anyone else.
Amen.
Just like I would never wanted to have been outed myself, and I wasn't. I did it on my own terms, which was great.
So you came out relatively older, right?
27.
Yeah. So relatively older. What do you think for now? Kids are growing up. Now it's more like people are like, hey, we just want you to be you. We just want you to be you. How can people bring that about if there's somebody like, hey, we want people to be comfortable who they are? How do you, if you have kids, how do you make them feel comfortable with it?
That's a good question. I think the key is you never want to outwardly ask someone, hey, are you gay? Because that puts people on the spot. But I think you can say, hey, are you dating anyone?
Yeah.
You dating women? You dating men? Because
you can say that now and kind of go, hey, what are you into?
Right, exactly. It gives people kind of that out to sort of be themselves. I think the key is too, and this is what I've noticed even just recently myself, is how it's portrayed in pop culture now is so much different. Because
absolutely.
If you had a gay character in pop culture in the last, let's say from, 1980 to 2000, they had to be overly
flamboyantly gay.
Exactly, this and that. Now it's just so much more normal in the sense that there's not the stigma attached to it, which I think is important. So I think Hollywood has a role in it. How we talk about it has a role in it. I just think there's a lot of kids who, listen, if I'd been born 10 years later, I would have come out when I was 17 because I sure as hell knew then.
Absolutely.
I knew when I was 10. People always ask, when did you know? It's like, well, think about the first time you liked a girl.
Absolutely.
You were probably in second freaking grade, So for people to act like, I just woke up one day when I was 23 and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gay. It's not how it works.
You say you knew when you were 10. Did you force yourself to try to like girls at any point? Or did you embrace it from a young age?
No, I certainly didn't embrace it. I mean, the tricky part was I went to a very small private school in town, and my best friends were all part of a very Christian sort of traditional kind of group. And
I hear those folks aren't good with it. I hear they're not good with it.
And you, again, just like being in a fraternity at a Midwestern school, you build into your head that it's this big deal, and it's just not.
So is it a conflict for you to try to cope with that?
Yeah, it was a tremendous conflict. I mean, in my article with Mile High Sports, I wrote about it. Everyone was saying, oh, you got it made. And I was miserable. I mean, I was 60 pounds overweight. I was drinking to get hammered. I was in a dark, dark, dark place until finally something triggered of, this is not the way I want to live.
The difference, and I'm fascinated by this, the difference between someone your age, someone Jeff Morton's age, who's a little bit older, and then people who are our age, very different experiences with it. Because when we were in high school, it was not anything like there was guys who were certainly, that we knew were gay, but it was not a thing that was. Kids now are like, this guy's gay. Who gives a fuck?
When
right?
I was in high school, one of the most popular guys in school was a guy who was a cheerleader for the cheerleading squad and was openly gay. One of the most popular guys in school, no question about it. But did people call him faggot all the time? You better fucking believe they did.
Of course.
But everybody loved him because he was an incredibly nice guy, like a world-class dude. Little teeny tiny guy. I mean, the other cheerleaders threw him up in the air. He was a little dude.
But very different. There's tons of people who probably were also gay that were never going to be able to bring that out.
Absolutely, no question about it. But my son now, my son is a senior in high school, and there are several openly gay kids and a couple of openly transgender kids at his suburban high school, and it, honest to God, it barely even occurs to most of those kids that anything's abnormal about it other than maybe the super jocks. That's the only culture where at that height,
the Pac-Man Joneses, is that what you're saying?
Pac-Man Joneses, the super jocks. Other than that, it's pretty much normal. But you're living in a world. You've been around sports for a long time, so you're kind of living in that super jock world. How did you find any kind of negative reaction at all?
No, I didn't have a single piece of negative feedback, which I thought was huge.
Of course, anybody who does provide any is going to be an ass.
Yeah.
True, and I also, and this was something I was told actually by my father, who was a high school teacher for a long time. He said, by and large, the most homophobic kids are the ones who are gay themselves, right? Because if you are that,
and they're also Republicans,
right? If you are that overly sensitive about it, it's probably because it's something internally you're trying to comprehend. So, no negative feedback. Wish I had done it 10 years before. Wish I had done it 12 years before. None of us have a time machine. It's all good. I'm here now.
That's awesome. It's good stuff.
I'm scared about the Chiefs. I just want to say that.
Yeah, as I say,
I'm really frightened.
Stick to sport.
I'm really frightened about the Chiefs. I think that they are in a position to be good for a really long time. And regardless of where the Broncos stand right now, they've always been a team, in my eyes, that has always bounced back. And in John Elway's terms, what's the phrase he uses? Something like win this year, win now. They're
win from now and now.
Win from now on. And I'm very, very concerned that we're about to confront a long-term drought of success for the Denver Broncos. What do you think, Bill?
I think it all comes back to the quarterback position. The Chiefs have
and they have it on a rookie contract. He's got 3 years left on his deal.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but aren't they going to figure that guy out soon? You
can't figure out his athleticism.
The Broncos have played him the best anyone has played him. And if you watch that game, the reason why he had success is because they almost would get to him because if you watch that game, they were falling down because they had him in their grasp, and then he was so fast he had to move. They had him kind of figure it out. So my point is, if the Broncos had him kind of figured out, somebody else, a little smarter, coaching wise, is going to have him figured out.
Well, to your point, it's look at the Dak Prescott effect down in Dallas, right?
Yep.
Phenomenal rookie year.
Great.
Figured the guy out. Even Derek Carr, some point now in Oakland, like that guy, we were scared of him.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's Derek Carr, whatever. That said, I think Mahomes is a little bit of a different breed from those other guys.
Yes.
Because look at this. He's got Tyreek Hill.
That's it.
And
he's got Hill.
Right.
And Hill's on a rookie deal, too.
And he's also got Travis Kelce, who could not be two more completely different players, but yet Mahomes is getting the most out of both of them. Colin, I'm with you that the Chiefs are going to be good for a while. But how many times have the Chiefs gotten off to fast starts and then lost in the, the playoffs to the Titans like they did last year?
I believe they are going to face the Rams in the Super Bowl this year. That's my theory. That's my pick.
Then they will lose. Kroenke, man, right here, telling you what's up. I hear you. When you see it, you see the Broncos on the decline, and you see a team like the Chiefs on the upswing because they've got players that are like, wow, this guy's young, he's gonna be there forever. That's obviously concerning, but it averages out. I mean, look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees is awesome. He's a Hall of Famer. They can kind of get to him every so often. He's not infallible. Right now, it looks like Mahomes is infallible. It looks like he's so good, right? That won't last.
Speaking of Pat Mahomes, I want to very briefly touch on a massive fantasy football trade I made last night.
Oh yeah, we got to concentrate on fantasy football.
I got this offer late last night, like after 11 o'clock, and I texted Cecil Lammey of none other than Cecil Lammey.
But not the Monday Mommy?
Cecil Lammey. Monday Mommy was probably in bed.
She was in bed.
I knew Cecil wouldn't be. He's all about the rock and roll. But I was offered Patrick Mahomes and Le'Veon Bell. Oh no, sorry. I was offered Patrick Mahomes, Will Fuller, and LaShawn McCoy, and in return, I had to give up Matthew Stafford, Le'Veon Bell, and his backup, the guy who's playing now, James Conner. So John Connor. He's badass. So I gave all those three, and I took the Mahomes deal. He's the number one player in fantasy football right now.
And he will be probably for the rest of the year.
I'm like, which is the best player in this transaction? And as long as the Steelers don't trade Le'Veon Bell, I get the better end of that.
Yeah, then those guys are splitting carries.
Exactly.
It's Matthew Stafford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford for Patrick Mahomes.
Someone offered you that deal?
Yeah, that was. I accepted
I think
the
you got
offer.
to take that. And I also think when a player comes back, like if he comes back, you come
He's
back.
got to get back into football.
Yeah, because you're going to start getting hit, and those guys have been playing for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? So
Yeah,
there is something to that.
But if he went to the Eagles, I'd be fucked. That would be. Then I'd be fucked. Because Connor would continue to get 2 touchdowns a game down in Pittsburgh. That would suck. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, it's good. I'm glad you're active out on there on the trade market. It's good. It's good stuff.
I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe he said that.
What else we got before we get out of here? We can let Will get out of here.
One last thing before we go. I wanted to talk about my change in expectation for the Denver Nuggets, but we'll talk about that next week after they play, or 2 weeks from now after they play the Lakers.
Well, we can talk about that now.
Game.
I think the Nuggets. Obviously they're exceeding expectations right now.
But should we be overreacting? That's the question. I mean, what I've seen so far, I've gone from, I think I'm going to define success, because we all know we can't define success as Nuggets fans as a title. Not right now. So I'm going to define success as a 6 seed. Now, after these first 4 games, when I've seen what they're capable of, I'm starting to go, I might define success as a Western Conference Finals.
They're pretty damn good.
They are pretty damn good.
I sat with Jason Kosminski at the Nuggets Fan Fest, 3 weeks ago. That was when they were still letting me host over there. And I said to Kos, this team's ceiling is a 2 seed. And Kos kind of laughed at me, and I said, no, this team's ceiling is the 2 seed in the Western Conference. You throw in Carmelo Anthony down in Houston, which Melo is a cancer everywhere he goes. He was a cancer in New York. He was a cancer in Oklahoma
Houston
City.
Doesn't look good.
No. Name me another team in the West that you can guarantee me today is better than the Nuggets besides Golden State.
Maybe LA, maybe Utah.
Not the Lakers, because
LA's winless.
I had a discussion with our pal Snyder, and he was like, "Oh no, the Lakers are going to be good." And I said, "LeBron James is good. He's fucking awesome. He'll drag a bunch of corpses to the playoffs, but he's now got like Walking Dead corpses he's dragging to the playoffs. He's got an even worse fucking team he's dragging to the playoffs. So you're right. I don't think there's any other team right now that's better than that.
Well, that gets to your ceiling of if you're the 2 seed, you can end up in a Western Conference Finals against the Warriors. I don't think it's a stretch to say the Nuggets.
They love playing the Warriors.
Yeah,
they love playing the Warriors.
The Nuggets could make a Final Four. Now that's if everything breaks exactly right, but to sit here and say the Nuggets could be the 2 seed isn't an outrageous statement.
Oh my God! And if they catch the Warriors in the Western Conference Championship, I would wager the minus 250 or the plus 250 on the Nuggets.
I also think that if you play a lot of basketball over the years, and LeBron's played a lot of basketball over the years, and obviously he's a physical freak. I just think after time, and hockey, same thing. The Penguins won 2 Stanley Cups. That's a lot of hockey to play, and they just kind of fell apart last year. You just won't be able to hang. These Nuggets guys are young. They haven't been playing very much because they're not playing in the playoffs. They're gonna roll, man. So I think it's looking up. Obviously, we know how it goes in the NBA, but I think they certainly look pretty fucking good to start out. And if you remember, like when the Warriors in the last couple of years when they won titles, man, they were out the gate. They were fantastic. So I think it looks pretty good.
They need to be attractive to free agents.
They are.
I know, but
they are right now.
They haven't been historically, and that's.
Who do they need? I don't think they need anybody. I mean, who are they going to bring in? They missed on LeBron, but if they could have had LeBron, sure, that'd been great. But
from what I've heard, LeBron wasn't that far from coming here. So
which is baffling because if he got on that Nuggets team right now, game over. They would have
title guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Oh, you just insert him as starting for Will Barton at the 3.
Oh, it's gone. It's a done deal.
Over.
Yep.
So speaking of done deals, one last thing before we go. I'm really aggravated with our social media service, Twitter, which I enjoy so much.
Oh, you do love it.
Apparently, they recently banned our friend Lauren Anders, the LA Baby, LA Baby. She's back. She's back on my advice. I was like, just add an A.
Oh.
She added an A and started a new account with a new email address. But she was forever banned for something apparently hateful or threatening or violent.
How many followers did she lose?
Oh, thousands.
Because that's the scary part about getting banned is having to start over.
She's got like 76 now.
Uncle Vicious was banned, and I think he's banned because he's gone. Like, you can't even find his account. So I'm thinking the same thing happened to him. So, hey, kids, behave yourself on Twitter. That's all I guess.
Don't say violent things.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying the World Series, or do you care?
No, I haven't watched a second of it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about it. I have no interest in it whatsoever. As everyone knows that, in a World Series like that, you either hope for team-wide diarrhea or an asteroid or, whatever.
Babies.
Yeah, whatever to happen, and you don't want anyone to win. So, but as we talked about earlier, we don't want the Dodgers to win because their fans are horrible, and we have to deal with them all the time. We don't have to deal with Red Sox fans maybe every couple of years. So they're awful. They're not going to get any worse. Let them win. It's fine. It's like when the Patriots played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, right? It was like, I don't want the Seahawks to win because their fans are going to be even worse. The Patriots fans are already bad, so they're not going to get any worse. So let's hope they win and the Seahawks fans can go off into obscurity.
It does surprise me, too, that the Rockies didn't get more shit for how bad they were in the playoffs.
Oh, they were bad.
There was an attitude in this town of,
they made the playoffs.
Well, they made it an extra step.
It's that same attitude that we've had with the Nuggets forever.
Right. And it was like, no, you went into a series with Milwaukee, and in the very first game, you tied it at 2 with a guy on third with 1 out in the 9th. And if David Dahl hits a sac fly, that's a 3-2 game, and you're up 1-0 against the Brewers. Like, you're that close to taking a commanding lead in a short series to go to an NLCS, and it was just a lot of, good season. We'll see what they do with DJ. It was like, wow, that was a small little window.
That's kind of how it is with them, though. It's kind of like, well, you guys got there. It's a good job, good job, good effort. That's the thing. They were so close. If they actually had any offensive output at all, they probably would have been on to the next round.
Which is the craziest part about that season because they didn't have any offensive output all season for the most part, other than like they'd scored 21 runs in one game for some reason. But they have always been a great lineup, and it looked on paper like a great lineup. I mean, you got Charlie Blackmon, you got Nolan Arenado, you got DJ LeMahieu. They should have been hitting.
They'll be a good late winter, early spring story for sure. So, but always something to talk about in Denver sports, though, right? Sports.
Thanks, Swag.
Thank
you for everything.
Yeah, this is really
God bless you, Swag.
This was a good week.
I'm really gonna miss him. And what a wonderful Tuesday. I mean, there was so much information coming in so fast, and it just got better and better. When I heard that Swag got smacked with a vacuum cleaner tube. I was just so happy.
It wasn't a Coke party. It was a Western party.
Western Coke party. There's a difference. There's a difference.
I think that the theme of this show should be a cocaine-themed party.
This was a cocaine-themed party, so it was really good. Will, it was excellent to have you. We appreciate you coming in for the first time.
Yeah, last thing I'll say is listen, 99.99% of the people at Crocky Sports Entertainment are great people, and I enjoyed working with them. There's a handful of names that will go unsaid, but seriously, it's a good organization. It was fun to be a part of, and who knows what holds down the road.
Any ideas for the future? What would you like to do? Tell me what your dream job is.
I told everyone over there I think I'm a radio host, and it was stretch after stretch after stretch where I was treated like a radio host, and then I got told at the very end, my first F-bomb of the night, you're a very expensive fucking producer. So that's how they felt towards the end. I would beg to differ on sort of my role and duties over there, but you know what? I would love to host somewhere in this town. Hopefully it comes together.
Hell yeah.
Well, we are wishing you the best.
If not, I'm just going to come crash with you guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry,
you're a big
you just sit in. We'll have you sit in every week. Come on. Yeah, just if you got nothing to do, come on in. So it's all good. Yeah. That's good. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Great stuff. Good time. Great getting back in. This is a good show. We went long too. It was a lot of info. We needed
deep.
And long and deep. We needed to do that to get back in the flow of things. We have talked that we're going to make sure we're going to try to get back on it regularly.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're planning. Scott will be hopefully well by then, and we're going to be back. We'll have plenty of Avs and Nuggets and probably some Broncos to talk about when we come back. So until next time, this has been the South Stands Denver Fancast. South Stands Live. Adios.
We love you, Denver! Yeah!
Well, someone's trying to tell me where it's at. How I do this and why I do that. With secret smiles like a Cheshire cat. Left wings like a vampire fly. I'll wait to my home for a fly and lead my way to a bowl of fat.
Still going on that. Snyder just texted me. He's like, "Oh, you guys done talking about the Broncos?" He must have just tuned in. So, yeah, we talked a lot of Broncos, Snyder. I'm sorry. We're all done, buddy. So,
That's good.
it's a jam.
So that's what we did.
It was awesome. It was fun.
Yeah,
That's a good job.
that was fucking good shit, Will. We were
Appreciate
able to
it.
hear your story, hear it all.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
First period was slow. We got it together. It's been fucking.
That's how you want it to go.
It's been since
Ramp it up.
before Broncos season. It might have even been 6
Yeah.
months.
Who's your guys' last one with?
Not Hastings. That was one.
No.
No, that was a while ago.
Oh, shit. I have
sh-
no idea.
Oh,
I was looking at it on the site today. I can't remember who it was.
Was it Drew Creasman? Seasman?
Yeah, it's probably
That wasn't
true.
the last one. There was one after that.
South Stands Denver.
Drew has the craziest voice. It's like
Really?
oh,
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah, his
just the
voice
very
is like.
stars.
I mean, it's really interesting. Like he could be like a storyteller.
Let's stop this. Let me make sure. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.